What up, players? Haven't done a video in quite a while, but thought I would do one. You know, I'm gonna do a video. I'm gonna talk about the pros and cons of living in Japan. I've been here like 9 years at this point, so I'm pretty well versed on living in Japan. I have a good understanding of it. So, I'll just get into it. So, one of the first off, this is a game channel. So the first pro I would say is the beautiful women. Has to be said. I mean, honestly, like that's probably one of the best things about living in Japan if you're a straight male. A single straight male is there's a lot of very attractive, beautiful, feminine women. Could be said, there are cons to it. It's like if you're a foreigner, it's going to be harder. Contrary to popular belief, it's not so true that, you're going to have all the ladies coming to you if you're a Westerner or a white guy. It's not true. However, in saying that, it's still good. I'm going to leave it as a pro. It is a pro. Number two, it's safe. Japan is safe. Chances like it's very unlikely that you're gonna get have your goods something stolen or have some physical altercation. Not that it couldn't happen, but it's unlikely. It's a safe country. It's still pretty safe. So regarding kind of civil issues, regarding stuff like that. I mean, there is the issue of earthquakes and tsunamis and stuff like that. But regarding dealing with people, it's pretty safe. What else can I say on it? Safe. Three, food. Food is good. There's a good food culture. Sushi, tempura, okonomiyaki, takoyaki. A lot of interesting Japanese food. Ramen. Food culture. It's a good aspect. It's a good pro of living in Japan. Four, hot springs. I like hot springs. It's a good way to relax. Japan's a very busy place, sometimes a very stressful place. Hot springs are good for your health. They're a good way to relax. I like them. Something that I never experienced in Ireland. So it's a thing that I really like about Japan. Hot springs. Five, I guess you could say the variety of weather, the four seasons. Japan is a very long country. You have the northern island, Hokkaido. It's like it's like a winter up there for 6 months of the year. If you like winter sports like snowboarding, skiing, Japan has some of the best snow in the world for that. But you go all the way down. There's like in the south, there's like Okinawa, which is a very tropical island. So you have a variety of climates to enjoy in Japan. It's very nice. There's four seasons. It's very nice. The nature is nice here. I would say they're the five pros of living in Japan. I mean, I'm sure there's more, but I'll leave it at five. Five pros of living in Japan. Let me talk about the cons of living in Japan right now in 2024. If you're a normal person, I'll start off with shit wages, really bad wages. If you're a normal person coming over here, looking to work for a company, most people come over here teaching English. You are not coming here to for financial reasons, because it's really bad. You walk around the streets, Japan looks like a rich country. In some ways it still is, but it's strange because the wages are so incredibly low here. And a lot of people struggle here. A lot of people, a lot of Japanese people here even, it's inflation. It just doesn't match up. It's a strange time in Japan. So really bad wages. Linking into that, number two, really weak yen. Like it's the Japanese yen against the dollar or euro is the weakest it's been since the 1980s. But in the 1980s, it was a completely different situation back then. Although the yen was weak against the dollar in the 80s, Japan was an incredibly rich country back then, and their wages compared to the cost of living was incredibly high. So people were living really well, even though the yen was weak against the dollar in the 80s. It's a completely different situation. The cost of living was much cheaper. Things have inflated. Wages in Japan have not increased since in decades. It's crazy. It's crazy. So for financial reasons, like, Japan is really, really terrible. On the other hand, it could be a pro. Like if you're coming over here, if you have a side hustle, if you're earning money in other ways, like, you're gonna make an absolute killing. It's because you're, like, with the exchange rate, if you're coming spending euro or dollars here, you're getting like huge spending power. So yeah, but I'm talking about people coming to live here and earn yen. It's bad, like really bad. Linking into that, number 3, high taxes. Like, all this coming in all together, every angle, like financially, it's just really bad. Unless you're earning euro or dollar with a side hustle, or you're coming here for business. But I'm speaking to generalization. Normal people coming here looking to work for a company, it's bad. Like, high taxes, real high. So it's just not good. You're not coming here for to live for financial gain, unless you're, I don't know, somehow earning USD, and then you're gonna kill it, or euro, even better. Linking into that, for work culture with all these like terrible wages, the work culture here is really bad. So it's like people are slaves here. It's like, what are you working for? Like, terrible wages, weak yen, high taxes. It's like, on top of that, people have to work like slaves. There's like super high expectations, like for nothing. It's crazy. Japan, like, I guess, like, if you're listening to these cons, you're not coming here for financial gain. Definitely not right now. Amazing to visit, seriously good to visit. I'm talking about living, pros and cons of living, not visiting. By all means, visit. Never been a better time to visit. Definitely visit if you can. Like, check out the link in the description. Hit me up for a consultation. If you're coming over here to visit, you should come over here to visit and do a boot camp with me. Do some game. Never been a better time. Super cheap. You're getting a killing on the if you're spending dollar or euro. Good times. Like, it's a good time to visit Japan for sure. Number 5, I would say, con, too many rules. Like, there's just rules for everything. I guess you can kind of, you get a little bit of a pass as a foreigner regarding certain things. You can kind of, like, people maybe aren't going to call you out as much on certain little rules. But, there's still a lot of rules to obey, just in society, that you're going to be frowned upon. People aren't going to like if you break the rules here. And there's just so many little things that, it's crazy. I mean, I remember the first time I came to Japan, I was, someone from my workplace was showing me around, and there was empty streets. There was no cars coming for miles, and there was a traffic light, a pedestrian crossing, and literally it was a countryside area, and we literally waited like 3 or 4 minutes because it was red, because the pedestrian crossing was red, even though there's no cars coming for it. It felt like 30 minutes because it was like, at the time I couldn't even converse with this guy, because it was like I had zero Japanese. I'd just come to the country. But this is just an example. People really stick to the rules and really rigid, and they're completely, inflexible. I could say, linking in, what could I say? Number 6, inflexibility. I guess that links into too many rules. Like, it's inflexible. They're not flexible. They can't bend the rules in any way, shape, or form. Even little things, even just like ordering in a restaurant. If you want something slightly different, it's just a big issue. They can't do it. They're not going to be able to do it. So expect them to be like really, really strict for rules. Just again linking into the work culture, like being a minute late is a big deal in Japan. Like being totally inflexible, being completely unreasonable about like just little things. Like I've heard stories where people have been literally a minute late to work, they'd get like docked an hour pay. Or I heard a story where they're called black companies. It means like terrible companies. If they were late, even if it was just like 1 minute if they were late by a minute twice or something, they'd get docked a full day's pay for being 2 minutes late. Like a full day's pay. Insane. Terrible, toxic, crap work culture. Bad. What did I say? Number 7 am I on? Difficult to integrate. It's not just you really need to go out of your way to integrate in Japan. And still, even if you do, you're still not going to be accepted by a lot of people. I'm not saying it's impossible, but I'm just saying if you're more of an introverted type, like you're really, maybe you like being alone, I guess. But if you're more outgoing or something, Japan could be like a lonely place for you. It depends. If you're in Tokyo, you're gonna be able to find other foreigners here. Tokyo is, it's a lot easier to find foreigners. But again, it's just like before I came to Japan, I thought I didn't really think about it too much. I certainly didn't think my plan originally was just to be here for a year or two. Did not envision myself being here like 9 years later, but I never imagined it would be. It's just very hard to integrate with Japanese people, and I speak Japanese pretty well. I'm not going to say I'm like completely like native level or anything, but communicating with people is not an issue. But it's still, there's a very big cultural difference in how people communicate with each other over here. A different kind of comedy, different kind of joke style. It's just difficult to integrate for sure. What could I say? Number 8, racism. Yeah, I have a pretty thick skin. I don't really care, but there is like blatant racism over here. A lot of when you're looking for a new apartment or a new place to live, a lot of places just will outright not accept foreigners. If that was to happen in a Western country, it would be in the news. It would be a big deal, discriminating against like foreigners just because you're a foreigner. So that's just an example, but there is just racism here. People, it's not the kind of racism that you're going to get beaten up or get like attacked or get spat on or anything like that. But you're just gonna deal with microaggressions. I don't even like using that kind of shit, those kind of words, but it is true. There is right. You're always gonna be a foreigner. I could live here till the day I die, and be able to speak Japanese like completely fluently and understand all the culture, but you're still not gonna get the respect or I am a foreigner here and I accept that, and that's fine. But I'm just saying, compared to Western countries, it's just different. If you come here and you think you're gonna be accepted, forget about it. You're not. Maybe things will change, but like, I don't think so. Like, the Japanese government pretend like they're making it easier for like to come here and live here as a foreigner, and they're not really. They're really not. I mean, they made a big deal. Apparently there's a digital nomad visa here. Oh, like in all the news they were talking about, oh, they're making it so much easier for foreigners to come here and live, and you know, they made this like pathetic, completely pathetic, like measly 6-month digital nomad visa, where you need to earn like 75k USD. I mean, that's a lot. That's like a lot of money in Japanese yen. So it's like, yeah, I mean, you're gonna live very, very comfortably in Japan if you're earning 75k USD. So I'm just saying, not a lot of digital nomads are earning 75k USD, to be honest. Like, so they're really not making it easier to come to Japan and live here, even though they're like, things are falling apart in Japan, you know, financially, really are, for a lot of people here, and they're just not willing to change. So I don't know, maybe they, in a way, they kind of deserve to suffer. They kind of deserve the downfall in a way, just because they're so stubborn in their ways. I mean, if they want to keep it, you know, just fucking stagnant, and not even stagnant. If it was stagnant, it might be all right, but it's like literally in decline. Japan is in decline, visibly in decline. You know, yeah, I don't know, where am I on? 8, paperwork. Yeah, paperwork. Damn, yeah, you gotta do a lot of paperwork. You know, if a foreigner came, for example, if a foreigner came to Ireland and was there for like 9 or 10 years, I think it would be very easy. You know, if you've been there that long, it would be, you know, I think they would be naturalized or have permanent residency very easily, a lot easier than it would be in Japan. You know, in Japan it's like extremely difficult to get like citizenship or permanent residency, even if you've been here a long time. And there's a lot of rules. I looked into it a little bit. I should be entitled to it next year, but I looked into it, and there's little things like if you've one single traffic violation, like for like a missed turn, if you got like a parking ticket, even you could be ineligible for it, which it's insane. Like, imagine that you've been here like 10 years and you've paid like fucking thousands, God knows how much in taxes and being a model citizen, and then you got a parking ticket, you could be ineligible for permanent residency. And like, there's all these things. Even if you have permanent residency, it's not even permanent residency, because if you have to come back, you have to be in Japan for at least once a year for it to maintain. So if you leave Japan for a year or two, you will lose your permanent residency. Crazy. So, you know, yeah, there's a lot of cons. I mean, I could go on. I'm gonna, you know, wrap it up there, but I'm just saying there's a lot of cons. I wouldn't, like, if someone was to ask me, would you recommend coming to live and work in Japan as like a regular person, like finding a job in Japan to work, I would say probably not. Like, I would say, you know, you're probably better off in Thailand or something, because, you know, at least Thailand is fun and stuff. They can smoke weed in Thailand, and, you know, it's a good time over there. But as I said, there's so many rules over here, and, you know, the economy sucks, and stuff is expensive here. It's getting expensive. I mean, if you're coming here with dollars or euro, you're going to think it's unbelievably cheap, which it is, because you're getting an amazing deal on the conversion rate. But for people earning yen here, it's not like cheap. Yeah. So, but all this weak yen, and this is really good for people coming to visit. So like, if you're thinking about coming to visit Japan, now's the best time to come and visit. If you want to come and visit, hit me up for a free consultation. Check out the link in the description. So these are just some pros and cons, my opinion. Let me know in the comments section what you think. Do you agree, disagree? Do you live here? Like, do you agree? Can you add anything? Can you add anything to the pros or con list? But yeah, if you're gonna come to Japan, book a free consultation in the description and do some game with me. I will tell you, because if you come over here and you try and do game, you're gonna get a rude awakening, because you're gonna if you don't know how to approach it, how to go about it, you're gonna get rejection after rejection after rejection. There is some nuance to gaming in Japan. So yeah. Anyway, peace. I'll leave it there. So peace out. Bye bye.